looking at some of the things that Kellen Moore was doing, looking at some things that Mike McCarthy did in his past when he was a play caller, there are some takeaways here of what you might be able to expect. And one of the things I think we're all hoping for is the play action passing game and the usage of motion, especially motion at the snap. And it's funny, 2019 when Kellen Moore took over, it was the year that the Cowboys ranked the highest in terms of their use of play action and motion at the snap. And that was their best year. When you look at their offensive DVOA for 2019, that was the highest it ever was under Kellen Moore. And that was the year they were top 10 in play action rank. They were 12th in motion, and they were 16th at motion at the snap. I think you'll see a ton. When you watch the Super Bowl, see a ton of motion with the Chiefs and the Eagles and motion at the snap. You saw a ton of it with the Niners. Like these teams that are getting to the end here offensively, they bring this to the table. And Kellen Moore never got better than 16th, middle of the pack of the sport in terms of motion at the snap.
Yeah.
And that was his first year. And then this past year, it was 16th. So it was always middle of the pack. And that's one of the frustrations. And we talk about Kellen Moore and the inconsistency, and the big picture numbers always looked very gaudy. But week to week, it was like, okay, what is do they have much of an identity? Does this play caller have something that he leans on a little bit? And when you run through, it's for the most part, they're middle of the pack in everything in terms of how often they use play action, how often they're using motion, how often they're doing all these different things. And it's always just goes back to middle of the pack. He didn't have any one thing that he leaned on. So it felt very week to week, and there were great highs and great lows. But he never really established anything. Hey, my quarterback's really good at play action. Maybe I should be top 5 or 10 in play action rate all the time because my quarterback's really good at that. And the one year you did do that, you had the best offense that you ever had when you were the play caller.
Is there numbers that support anything that Mike McCarthy's done as a play caller, like these numbers you're talking about? Like you mentioned, Kellen Moore didn't want to do this or didn't want to do that. Is there something that when you go back instead? I mean, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
No, you're good. I think you saw Aaron Rodgers was known for not liking the motion stuff. He was one of the still a little bit more old school. He now you see the motion puts the defense on their heels. But I guess Aaron Rodgers just liked a stagnant offense, so he could just see everything that was going on. That's the way that he liked it.
Do you fear that's what you're going to see?
No,
I mean, you're just supporting the fact that Kellen Moore hasn't been very good at it, but then you just told me, and I'm not trying to slam you or anything with your talk here, but if you're telling me that Rodgers didn't like it, well, does that mean that, okay, that's how McCarthy's going to call
I think it's more so on Aaron Rodgers. LaFleur got him to do it. That's the crazy thing about Green Bay. McCarthy wanted him to do it. Rodgers wouldn't do it. And then when new coach arrived, he's like, hey, coach, what do you want to do? All right, sounds good. And he blew up into MVP Rodgers again. So I think the takeaway is if your quarterback is barking back at less motion, you got to explain it to him. I don't care what you're comfortable with. Here's the numbers, and we're going to try this for a long time before we decide to go away from it, because we have to get the defense out of position. Yeah. And if you got to get used to this new set of buzzing things around you in order to get the defense out of position, then that's the bridge we're going to cross. And I think that's exactly why the Cowboys keep saying Dak Prescott needs a new voice in his ear.
Right. In even last year, we were hearing that Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to be under center. He prefers the shotgun. Well, they had to make that adjustment halfway through the season with Matt LaFleur saying, buddy, we got to do some more play action under center, and you saw how their offense was able to really take off the second half of the season. So Aaron Rodgers doesn't always know what's best for him in the offense.
And it's a fair question, Broadus, to compare to McCarthy, and that's one of the things that I struggle with when evaluating McCarthy is like he was super high in early down passing rate, and that's one of the things that I would love to see. Like Kellen Moore is turning around and handing the ball off all the time. McCarthy with the Packers was a guy that really liked to throw the ball early and often, and they found great success doing that. Now, he had one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, but that's also something that I struggle with. How much of it was Aaron Rodgers deciding on first down that they're passing the ball and second down passing the ball? So I'm presenting you some things here. I don't fully know what I can guaranteed expect from McCarthy because I don't know how much was dictated by him or Rodgers when it comes to at the line of scrimmage. McCarthy might have wanted the run play on first down, and Rodgers just said to hell with that. So that's why I don't really know. I'm giving you what we've seen.
Okay.
But what we've seen from Mike McCarthy that I know for sure of when he was the play caller with the Packers, and it's something that I would invite here, is being an offense that throws the ball on early downs more often than not. But again, I don't know if that was Rodgers or McCarthy.
Yeah, is there a sample size of how the games were called with Schottenheimer? Because whoever's the OC, I think, is going to be a guy that's going to influence how Mike McCarthy calls these games.
Yeah, well, Brian Schottenheimer was a guy that loved doing play action, but also loved running the ball. Like, they were always high up in play action rates and in running the ball, early downs, whatever. But it is funny because the Seahawks ran the ball on about 52% of their first down plays when Schottenheimer was the play caller, and that's less than what Kellen Moore was actually running the ball. Kellen Moore is running the ball 57% of the time on first down, which was even higher than what Schottenheimer was doing. And Schottenheimer's known for being a guy that loves to turn around and hand the ball off.
Do you think that maybe that he was in a situation that he felt like he could still run the ball even with Terrence Steele being out because he had a Hall of Fame right tackle?
Yeah, I'm sure he felt that
way.
it wasn't
how
quickly did you see that wasn't the case?
No, but I'm just saying though. I mean, that's confidence in a player. If Matt Willets goes over there or Ball's over there and you're still running it on first down, you're an idiot. But he's probably thinking like, you know what? I got a Hall of Fame right tackle now.
Right.
You know?
Well, in the first game we saw him in Jacksonville, he looked pretty damn good.
And then how quickly did that change, though? It changed pretty quickly, Broadus, where you came in here and said, I was wrong about Tyron being better than Terrence Steele. I would like my offensive coordinator to see that as well.
I wonder if, like I'm saying, the coordinators probably had a lot of faith that he could continue first down runs when he feels like he's got a better right tackle than the one that was a starter.
Yeah, and that's fair to do for maybe a game. And then you realize over the course of 5 games with Tyron Smith, we don't have as good a tackle as we thought we were going to have. So you have to be able to adjust there, I would think. But with or without Tyron Smith, with a healthy Terrence Steele, look at any year you want, Kellen Moore is turning around and handing the ball off at a pretty substantial rate on early downs. And just for me personally, I'd love to see an offense that didn't do that. And one thing that's giving me some level of hope is Mike McCarthy, when he was the play caller with the Packers, they did pass the ball early and often. But again, I don't know how much of that was Aaron Rodgers dictating things at the line of scrimmage, and that's just something I don't know, and I don't know how we could actually find that out.
I think it's a good sample size on Mike because some of it dates back to even before Rodgers was there, and it was that other quarterback, number 4, as well. So I think a large study of what we have here is based on it is McCarthy and not, and you can probably say, all right, this is him and not so much of the Rodgers changing stuff pre-snap.
Do you think we're going to get more concepts, more variants with the routes with McCarthy?
No.
You don't expect that?
I really don't. No.
Okay. Well, that's certainly disappointing. I think that's something we would all like to see more of. And I think with Schottenheimer, you saw a little bit more of that.
That's not the West Coast stuff, though.
Yeah, Calvin Watkins had a piece yesterday afternoon in the morning news after talking with the Joneses at the Senior Bowl and said slants and throws to running backs.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, John Owning was even talking about. We were laughing about it this morning. I was talking about
the slant flat is obviously a staple call there,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
But not much of the hitch stuff. We're not going to get a bunch of guys just turning
around.
Spot.
Yeah, you're gonna get some of that.
You're going to get plenty of that. Well, that's certainly a bummer. Blogging the Boys mentioned like one way that the next offensive coordinator could help things out is by using the tight ends in more various ways. When you look at how much...
That's a Green Bay way of playing.
I would love that. And you got the tight ends to do it now.
Yeah, because, you had 3... Say what you want about Schultz, but you have 3 solid guys. You saw midway point of the season, okay, we got 3 tight ends that we can get some use out of here. And they were pretty much exclusively using the Ferguson combo as blockers. And so it's like, okay, like 75% of Ferguson's play here this year was as a blocker. Could you have gotten a little bit more creative in the way you used him, especially when you saw some of his yak ability throughout the season?
Absolutely.
Whether he's Euro stepping into the end zone or I believe it was the Tampa game where he skirts out and boom, 34-yard play
for him.
So you'd like to have a coordinator that we talk about getting your stars involved, but also don't maybe pigeonhole some of these dudes that you find, okay, we got something here with Ferguson. We don't have to 75% of the time he's on the field just make him be a blocker or a Hendershot. Like, let's use these guys in a variety of different ways and create some more mismatches here because you got that with these tight ends. You struck gold a little bit. So, there's another way that you could help things as the next offensive coordinator, and it sounds like maybe that's one way Mike McCarthy might advance things. So that's
certainly
good.
hope so. You know, I think giving Dak options to get the ball out quicker, you know, it would be a huge one as far as, hey, this guy is going to be open. Like finding guys open the longer the play goes, I think that's kind of kryptonite. And certainly there have been some big plays, you know, that are made, but I think depending on that is not the path.